So let's go to say round 3, which is usually the final, team meet, manager greeting, cultural. So that one's pretty generic. Like I said, if you made it this far, like the point of the first 3 rounds is to not waste the manager's time because they're busy. So by the time you make it here, the chances are that they kind of like you already. Yeah, and the success rate should be high at this point. Otherwise, you're wasting too much manager's time because their time is more expensive. Yeah. So here, pretty much, it will be like what it manages. You want to impress the manager now. You're not impressing a dev. You're not impressing a HR person. You're impressing a manager. So what do they want to hear the most? They want to hear things that are directly relevant to their team. So the testing thing is a good one, right? Because like if their team is still questionable around testing and processes and how that works, you want to kind of explain what has worked well for you, what has not worked well for you, and kind of show off your breadth of knowledge in that area. So then it makes them feel like, we need this person to come in and he would like kind of fix up the process for us or bring some value to how we do things.
So one thing here,
you want to do that as much as possible.
I just want to ask is like, do you think there is because for stage 3, obviously, do you think there is a differentiation between technical managers, like tech leads and like people who know tech, and, like your general kind of business manager, like, say CEO or somebody? Do you think there is a difference in the way that you should approach those 2 types of meetings?
There is a difference, but the difference might be not that big. So you should always approach it as if they're not extremely technical. You want to assume that they used to be a dev, so that they're not completely oblivious to what you're saying. But at the same time, assume that they're not actively in dev, I think is the best assumption to make it. You can probably ask straight off the bat, but honestly, even if you ask, you won't really know because you don't know them. Yeah. So you want to talk, you never want to get into the like low details. For example, if you're in this stage and you're saying, we should use decorators. Decorators save so much time, shrinks your code base or whatever. Like, they're just going to be like, cool. Yeah. Like, let's move on. Yeah. You probably want to say things that are much more generic, right? Like saying,
like maybe non-language specific, like design patterns, that kind of stuff. Hey.
Yeah. But even like to a technical degree, even to like say like GitHub processes and stuff, saying, we should, we've been using Git Squash to manage our commits, and it's worked really well for us in release. So that's still kind of technical, right? It's pretty technical, GitHub. You have to be a dev to know. But at the same time, it's not like in the low details, right? It's still pretty generic, yeah. So that's where you want to float around. Yes, so yeah, just want to show off what you want to know, what you've done. They're probably the most interested in what you have actually achieved. So you need to say things like, actually say what you've contributed to a team. So let's say you're a junior dev, right? Just to give people at different levels. So if you're a junior dev, you want to be like, I've been assigned a task. I was exploring and I found like a great library in testing.
It's called
let's
Jest.
say PolyJS.
Never heard of it before.
Jest,
it's amazing.
PolyJS or whatever.
Have you heard of it before, manager guy?
Don't say that. Yeah, you might want to give like a one-liner or what it is if it's not like widespread knowledge. Like, it's like an API caching, testing, mocking tool. And then I did a presentation. The team liked it, and we moved forward from there. And it's made our process, it's made our testing much more robust and quite a bit quicker, to be honest. Mm-hmm. So something like that, right? So as a junior dev, you'll still be given opportunities to explore, learn, and make like suggestions. Remember, prepare in advance what you want to talk about, and definitely like make that the core, like a big part of what you're
rehearse it a bit for sure. Hey.
Know your tools or your options, like know what's in your belt kind of thing, or your sack, whatever they call it, because you could be having a lot of stuff that they want to hear, but if you don't say it, no one's gonna know. And sometimes, and especially in situations like that, you can't recall everything you've done in the past year. Like a year is a long time, and really if you like diary everything, you probably have done a lot more than you think. that you've done. So yeah, for say like a mid-level dev, basically the same thing. But I think for a mid-level dev, this is where like if you want to do really well, you should start showing signs of potential senior dev. So in essence, it's the same. Like when you're a junior dev, you need to show signs of mid-level dev, and if you're a mid-level dev, you need to show signs of being a senior dev. So it's not like if you're a mid dev, right? It's not like you can do more than half the things a mid dev should be able to do. Thus, you have a passing mid dev. That's a uni perspective.
Yep.
Like 51% pass.
Please
that's not
get
how it
degrees.
works,
Yeah.
man.
No.
Yeah, that's not how it works. They hire you with the intention that you're good potential. Like they're investing in you because you're both good and your potential is good. So they want to have the feeling that there's things you can do from here, which is why like you sometimes hear that question, like they would ask you, oh, where do you see yourself in 3 to 5 years? People say it's a dumb question, but I guess it's not that dumb. It's just to gauge like what's your aspirations and what are you willing to work for, kind of thing. And,
it's probably not a good idea on that note is like if someone's interviewing you and like HR and you're like, they're like, where do you see yourself in 3 to 5 years? And you're like, probably not here.
Your spot.
Yeah, your spot, yeah. Or like probably working at like
in your
Facebook
chair.
as like senior dev, type thing. That's probably not a good idea. Like I think if you're going to answer and you honestly see this company as a stepping stone, you can kind of be like, you just completely, answer it from a different perspective and be like, okay, actually, well, I see myself having technical skills above what I know now. I see myself having more connections within the industry, and I see myself still trying to improve while staying humble. And always looking to better my skills and connect with my peers in the best way possible. Something like that. Like, don't mention the company.
Yeah, totally right. And actually notice like the things you say describe what you want to be, but doesn't state what you want to be. Yeah. So I think that's a big one. So say you actually want to be a manager, right? Whatever. You should do what you said. Like describe the qualities of a manager rather than being I want to be a manager.
Yeah. Because then it's just like
yeah.
I think I'm huge. I think I'm big bucks. But then if you kind of like if you state the qualities, it's like I'm actually goal oriented. I'm working towards these things. I'm humble. I'm focused, etc. And then they're like, wow, this guy's amazing.
Exactly.
Yeah.